Hey guys, how you going? Campbell here from Autodidactic. Hope you're having a fantastic day. And today we're going to look at a bit more silly stories from his story. And we're going to get into an architect who apparently built most of Melbourne. So let's jump in. All right, so today we're going to have a look at Joseph Reed, the architect from Melbourne, 1823 to 1890. And basically all the buildings, as you can see here, that he built. We have a list of them. Well, buildings that are attributed to him having designed. And this is them. There's actually 34 of them in 34 years. All right, so who is this man? All right, it's Joseph Reed, 1823 to 1890. And then we read Joseph Reed, 1823 question mark. So they don't even know when he was born. All right, to 1890. He was an architect, they say, was probably the child baptized in the parish of Constantine, Cornwall, England on the 23rd of February, 1823, the son of Nicholas Reed, a landowner, and his wife, Amy Nee Hitchens, who obviously was a part of the Knights Who Say Nee bloodline. And it says he arrived in Melbourne in July 1853, and in January 1854, 6 months later, he won the competition to design the public library. The same year, he designed the Bank of New South Wales and the Geelong Town Hall. So, three buildings in his first year of designing. There's nothing attributed to him before he won the competition to design the library. So his output was pretty good. And if we read down here, it really just talks about all the buildings that he's designed. So there's nothing about his training where he, became an architect, where he got his training from. No schools or anything mentioned like that. And nothing about, how he actually designed all these. They're just saying he did design these and, he designed it in this style because it was, a resurgence or he did this. And it's just really not, it's just a silly story. But I'll leave this link below if you want to have a read of it. So here we go. Joseph Reed. All right. It's just a bit about the story, the story that AI probably wrote, right? That's what we're thinking these days. But so he designed, this is a list of work. His first building was the State Library of Victoria. And if we come down here, it says in 1853, the decision was made to build a library. Down here, 3rd of July, 1854, Sir Charles Hotham laid the foundation stone of the new library complex. And the library's first stage was opened on the 11th of February, 1856. Okay, 1854. I mean, that's a year and a half basically to build. And they, with this one, they say it was built in stages, but this is what it is. This is what they built in a year and a half. All right, the first stage. This is the interior, okay, that was designed and built in a year and a half. And here's a photo of this is obviously the whole library. And like I said, they say it was built in components, but look at the look at this dome. I've been in this dome. It's ridiculous. And they say that it was built as a library, and it's just basically got little these floors aren't filled in. They're like balcony floors that go around the outside, and so a bit crazy. A year and a half, guys. His first ever building, and he just whacked this up. Just came out with this perfect design, all built completely amazingly. We can't do this stuff today. And yeah, his first building. Next, we get on to the Collins Street Baptist Church. This was his second building that he designed. And this one, they don't really give a building time. It's just saying founded 1843. So this, they say that was the original church, right? Which was replaced in the late 1850s. It was decided to enlarge the building. And then the church, as we see it today, was open 1862, or so they say. So not sure how long it took to design and build this, how long the story's going to say it is, but this is what it is. And that's a church. Isn't it interesting how all these old churches, they all look different. It's just the label they give them. Then in 1855, he designed the Geelong City Hall. And this is it, the Geelong City Hall, right? Another completely Tartarian building. And they just attribute it to Joseph Reed. And we come down here, construction, land was acquired, 1854, 2 acres, a design a design competition was held with 12 entries being received. And Joseph Reed won that competition as well because he was just so good. The foundation stone was laid 1855. The wing was completed soon after. So again, they don't really give us a date for this one being built, but 1855, and then soon after it was opened. So clearly, not a long time, right? They're just whacking these buildings up all over the place. Then we have a bank that he has designed. Then it says the facade was relocated. Weird. Wesley Church, 1857. And this is Wesley Church. Here we go. A bit of a weird picture there, but you can see it's an old bluestone. This is manse, Wesley Church, 1859. I'm not sure what a manse is, but another part of the structure uh, in bluestone. And then we have the side of the church. Okay, so another old world Tartarian building, clearly. This is another structure. I think this is, yeah, the caretaker's house. But this church with this massive steeple, spire on it. How long did this take to build? What do you think? Let's go in here. The first service by the ordained Christian minister, 24th April 1836. So they're going to say that this was the original that was replaced. So a small chapel was built 1838, then replaced with a larger one, able to seat 600 people. In June 1841, the organ was imported. The present Wesley Church in Lonsdale Street was built in 1858. And that's all it says. 1 year. Okay. The foundation stone was laid December 1857, and the church was opened 26th of August 1858. So less than a year to build this. But he was not finished. He built another building 1857. There's no pictures, they just know there was a building there. Then the Royal Society buildings in 1858. And this again, massive Tartarian structure. Right? And mud flooded. See, it's not level. We've got a little window here in the ground, steps going up. Same old story. And again, this one doesn't really give us a building time. They tend to just miss these out of a lot of the buildings because they don't know. I don't know. And none of these buildings have plans, by the way, that anyone's been able to find thus far. But it says, the societies were founded 1854, they merged 1855. The Philosophical Institute received Royal Charter in 1859, and that's it. So they don't really talk about the building at all. They're just talking about the actual society, right? Who claimed that building. So no time frame for that one. Then a few more: Hotham Street, a commercial bank, Ballura House, the National Museum, University of Melbourne, and that is actually this one up here. And this is it, the National Museum and a lake at Melbourne University in 1885, though it was mostly demolished in 1968 to make way for the current buildings, of course. So now there's not much on this one. So again, no time frame. But they're probably going to say a year or two, but look at this amazing building. I did manage to find a couple of other images of this building. It's now been demolished. So here it is back in the day. And another one here. What are they? Oh, is this a cemetery? Oh no, they're probably just planting trees. I don't know. But this massive building in the background, right? And you can see there's another massive building hiding here too. And gardens all planted out and everything. So yeah, he's whacked this one up as well. as they do. It's been knocked over. So then he built, or designed the Uniting Church in Melbourne, St. Michael's Uniting Church, and the history says it's one of the first church sites, 1839 to 1841. That structure was demolished in 1863 to make way for the present building, completed in 1866. It was designed by Joseph Reed, of course. So 1863 completed. So we've got 3 years. Again, they don't really give us a start time for the building, but 3 years max to build this. Okay, here's a picture from back in the day. And look at this thing. And of course, not much out there. The streets are just, they don't look paved. They look like they're covered in dirt. A lack of trees. There's a few up here, but not much around. Kind of like it's been inundated, right? The old civilization. And we've got Tartarian structure next to it. Again, we've got the two different sized buildings here, right? So that's 2 stories, and you can see the middle story here. So this church is much bigger, and that is, I believe, because it's a machine, right? These are machines. They're like energy collectors, they're healing centers, and probably many other things, right? Frequency modulators. And these big towers, probably had bells in there as part of it too. Might have had something to do with airships. Who knows? But this is it. 3 years to design and build this. And he also designed this Ripponlea estate, just, an old Tartarian home-looking thing, right? But it's still got its tower here, its belfry, and its Antiquitech, right? See these little antennas there? Are they still working? Who knows? It's still a government building. Are they getting free energy? You can see the brickwork here too, and this probably tells us what this building was originally used for, right? We just don't know how to read the symbols. And here it is out the back. Look at this. All the old world wrought iron and stuff. So pretty cool. Not majorly oversized or anything. And if you read through here, it doesn't give a start date again or an end date of the build. It just sort of says it was created for this dude, Sir Frederick Sargood, a wealthy Melbourne businessman, politician, and philanthropist. So in 1868, he bought the land, and this house just happened to pop up, is apparently the story. But he wasn't finished. He was still going, our Joseph Reed, architect extraordinaire. So he went on to the Melbourne Town Hall. Completed 1887, but they don't say when it was started. Let's have a look at the history. Begun in 1851, the work ground to a halt with the beginning of the gold rush. The foundation stone was laid 29th November 1867 by the visiting Duke. The current town hall had officially opened 1870. So 3 years. 3 years to build this in the 1860s and 70s, right? 3 years, guys. Okay, horse and cart, pick and shovel, not even any steam engines or steam cranes or tools like that. Definitely nothing electric, all hand tools. And this is what they whack up. With this big tower here and the domes, and you can see all the other buildings here. This is a drawing from 1910, and it's Melbourne's just a Tartarian city. Gotham City. Melbourne was actually found by Mr. Batman. That's a true story. And here it is, the front of it, windows going into the ground, and just what we're told is Greco-Romano, but now we understand is, Tartarian, or if that word triggers you, old world from the previous recent advanced civilization, all found. Wow, that's the organ inside it. An organ inside the town hall. So it just shows you this again. And look at this roof. This is like a big collecting space for the frequency, right? And this is creating the frequency. So this is like a healing hall. And but they just decided to make this the town hall. But These organs are normally in what we call cathedrals, but you do find them in lots of other buildings too. So this is why I believe that all these buildings use different components because they're machines. That's why we have lots of similar features like towers and arched windows and columns and the different brick stone that they use, right? To turn it into a capacitor, maybe. The red bricks we know can be used as batteries, right? So they get all their different components to build the machine that they want to build, right? So they get the outcome they want. And that's why they all look similar, but not the same. But he wasn't done. So he built this or designed this, right? The Victorian Trades Hall. But this is it. Again, same everything. Same everything. So in 1856, the Melbourne Trades Hall was formed. Then they decided to build the Melbourne Trades Hall. The original Trades Hall was opened 1859. So again, they don't give us a start date for the build, but that's basically 3 years between deciding they wanted to build one and opening it. 3 years to build this. And then he was getting bored, so he decided he'd whack up another church. And look at this one. Here's this tower with its big steeple going up to collect free energy, no doubt. Here's a front view, but this is the main picture here. Okay, and you can see, look at this thing. Crazy. Like, look how ornate it is. Like every surface. Look at the brickwork. Like, this is crazy, right? They built all this in 1873. So in the 1870s, they were whacking that up. Well, this is a building nearby. Look at that. I mean, look at this. Look at this at the top here. This Antiquitech device. We've got the Moorish arches down here. I mean, that's just crazy, right? But basically, they say that the church of our Presbyterian services, 1837, so that's when they found the site. Coming down here, no doubt they knocked it over and they had to build a new one on the site. Yeah, so the first church, 1840s. The current building, planned to be the most beautiful building in Australia. I mean, they got pretty close, not that they built it. Construction of the current building took place between 1871 and 1874. There you go. 3 years max. 3 years max, guys, to build this. 3 years. And look at the size of it too. You can see the people here. It's massively oversized. 3 years in the 1870s. Then we've got another three 1876 buildings. Bank of Australasia, the Faraday Street School, the Academy of Music. Then he decided to build a mansion in 1877. Then some markets. Then a hall, another hall at the Melbourne University, which was destroyed by fire, of course. And then we get to the Royal Exhibition Building in Melbourne. Now, I'm sure you've all seen this. A huge building, massively oversized, got all the domes, got all the features of everything, right? And this was for the Melbourne Exposition in 1880. And this was built in less than a year, guys. Started 1879, opened in 1880. But this is it back in the day. And here we have the exhibition building. You can see that there's been bits added, like these little two kangaroos hugging a light by the looks of it. I mean, you can see they look like they're a different color to the rest of this. So I'm not sure if they were put on top or if it's the whole thing was retrofitted. We've got the old world lights made with the wrought iron, right? The old world wrought iron. Look at this. We've got domes here with their big Antiquitech antennas, which have no doubt, been replaced. They're just for look these days. And the entranceway, right, with its massive dome on the top. So this again is a machine, and this half rose window, right, cymatic shaped window, was that originally open? So it was, projecting out certain frequencies. What do you think? But basically, yeah, Less than a year to build that one. So he's doing well, our young architect friend. But he wasn't finished. So he went and built this. Look at this. Very what they would tell us is Gothic. Look at this steeple, right, with its little Antiquitech antenna. Looks like this could be a little landing platform for an airship. What do you think? You know, all this is all Antiquitech. This is all tech. This is a machine, right? And look at the doorway. Outside one is massive, but then they got smaller internal ones. I mean, just ridiculous, right? Look at that thing. Okay, how long did it take to build? Have we got any other shots? So there's another shot there for you. Side view. So quite ridiculous. There's the steeple again. And look in the front here, we've got another tower popping up. All right, so how long do you think? Ormond College in Melbourne. And then the General Assembly meeting in November 1877 resolved that the church should immediately proceed with the building of a college with their £10,000 that they raised. And so they did. So on November 15, 1879, the foundation stone was laid and the formal opening took place March 1881. That's literally a year and a half, 18 months. 18 months to build this in the 1870s. And then he's built a few more churches. Sacred Heart Church, St Kilda, 1884. He's built Pathology Building, 1885. And 1884, oh, this one they're saying 6 years. Let's have a look at this. St Paul Cathedral, Melbourne. And there it is, right? Quite ridiculous. The history. So the building work was marked by disputes between Butterfield and the church authorities in Melbourne, leading to resignation. The job was then awarded to local architect Joseph Reed. Okay, in 1884, and then it says a bit about pipe organs, and it doesn't really say, well, when it was opened. So 1884. So I'm not sure. So we'll go with 6 years. They don't like to tell us a lot of this stuff, right? They kind of keep it out of reach. But this is what he built, 1884. Now you can see the size. These are people massively oversized, as they all are. I mean, look at the brickwork in it. You know, all amazing stuff. Look at these three inspiring spires, right? Reaching up into the ether to collect free energy. You know, we've got the portals here, the arches, this doorway. It's actually called an archivolt, they call them when they're layered like these. When it sort of starts popping out, kind of looking a bit like a speaker. It's called an archivolt, right? Arc, right? Like an electrical arc and volts, voltage. And not to mention that in a lot of these cathedrals, we have vaulted ceilings, right? It's all electrical language. This is a print of the first adoration of that church, apparently, and again, Tartarian. But apparently that one got knocked over. Some more. This is a lithograph, 1862. Doesn't looks like it's got a different steeple there. And here we go. It says William Butterfield's original design. They're calling this a design. This is just a sketch of a building that's already there. And it's not a design. You cannot give this to someone and that someone can go and then build it. These are not designs. They're not blueprints. Oh, okay. Gosh, it's looking quite Asian there for a minute, but this is our repair work on the spire. So you can see how big this spire is. This spire is taller than the rest of the building. Imagine what kind of foundations and what kind of engineering you would need to build into this building so that it didn't collapse under the weight of this massive tower. And then he goes through and he designs a few more buildings down here, all Tartarian. You know, we've got this Spencer or Baldwin Spencer building. Okay, Tartarian structures everywhere is what he's building. And oh my gosh, we found a design, guys. We found a plan. See the ground floor plan. Again, you can't build anything with that, but he apparently built this. And it was built between 1887 and 1888. So a year to build this, the Gothic Revival styled building. 1 year back in the 1880s. So there you go. I just really wanted to show you how silly this story is. And this is Melbourne. You will find this same story in any city that you look into. Any city with Tartarian type buildings, you will find this same story of an architect who's got no training, just popped up from somewhere, won a competition, and from there on went on to design tens and tens, 20, 30, 40, 50 buildings in a city. So this one, Joseph Reed, 34 buildings in 34 years, and no talk at all of where he got his training from. And no designs, no blueprints, no nothing like that. And all built. As you saw, the longest one was 6 years, but that was double most of them. We went from what, months, 8, 9 months to build one of these to a couple of years for all of these buildings, all 34 of them. So let me know what you think about that in the comments. Do you believe this story? I mean, it's quite silly, right? But it's the same story over and over, which is, why a lot of people are now questioning, is this just all written by AI? How long have they had AI? Like, why do all the stories come out the same? It's all the same story. They just change the names and the dates. That's it. Because all of these cities were found. Okay, not founded, found, found empty, found dead. They found their free masonry. All right, there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that one. Leave me a comment, give me a like, share this around, subscribe if you haven't already, all that good stuff. If you'd like to support this channel as well, you will find links below. There's a couple of really cool books there on self-sufficiency basically and growing your own food and storing your own food and all that kind of stuff. So check them out. And I'll talk to you all on the next upload. Bye for now.
Remember, in the end, nobody wins unless everybody wins. Come on!